Okay, so in the lab, we create a SPMP, which is nothing but a software project management plan. The software project management plan. So what we do? Step one, work breakdown structure (WBS). Okay. So step two, and what is work breakdown structure? Division of the project into tasks. Step 2, create a list of resources needed for each task. Create a list of resources needed for each task, because as every resource comes with a price, or at a price. Okay. So what is the philosophy behind this? So by dividing into tasks, we ensure that all tasks are accounted for. By allocating resources, we ensure that all the resources needed for each task is accounted for. So why do we need to do that? Because you see, when we are talking about resources, these resources are not our personal resources. They are the company's resources. Okay, these are actually the company's resources. So now you see, so these are the company's resources. That actually means that they will take some money, and once you devote a resource to a project, you won't get it for any other project. Okay, so that means that if you plan, So plan for the resources means that you will not be sorry stuck for resources. Just a sec. That you will not be stuck for resources midway. Okay. So what does that actually mean? That let's say that you are having another project. Let's say you are doing four projects at the same time. Now, if you plan well for all the projects, you know what resources you're going to make, or you're going to take. So you can divide your resources between the four projects. Now, if one of the projects is not well planned, what will happen? Once you start doing the project, so then you will then basically come out and need some more resources for this project. Now, if you have got extra resources in the project, that's not that bad because you can reallocate. Okay, so because having extra resources, so that means that you are okay, but not having enough, this is a risk. Why? Because where are you going to arrange for the resource from a project which is very bad, from outside, so which is expensive and may not be fruitful. Okay, so you see, that is the thing. So because of these reasons, you need to properly allocate the resource. And how are you going to allocate the resource? You're going to allocate the resource to some task, no? You're actually going to allocate the resource to where? To some task. So how many tasks do you have? How many tasks do you need? The answer is you cannot know that until and unless you break the entire work into small tasks, which is the work breakdown structure. Let us see what a work breakdown structure is. So, example, library management system or LMS. This is also available in Rajiv Mal. You all know, you have all read Rajiv Mal. It's an example there, so I'm doing that so that if you do have Rajiv Mal at all, you'll be able to relate to it. But otherwise, this is good enough if you just pay attention. So, how do I do the WBS? So, I'm going to do the WBS. Just one sec. Yeah, no, just one sec. I haven't done it. So, does a WBS. What is the WBS of that? So first of all, we'll write what we are writing the WBS for, and that is the LMS. So we write LMS. Now, out of this, in the horizontal plane, we will write out the horizontal plane. We will write out the parts. LMS is not a whole; it's a system, but it's not a unit whole. It has got several small parts. For example, one of the most important things of any management, say LMS is obviously an MIS. So what is at the heart of an MIS? The heart of an MIS is a DBMS, right? Isn't it? So database. So we are going to have to make the database. So that's one part. The second part we are going to make, now the database is being made obviously with some technology. We have to have our own middleware server. This is going to be serving all the clients and getting data from the database. It will be serving the clients. Then we must have the user interface. So we must have the user interface. This is through which the the clients, in this case is a library management system, so that is the borrowers are going to interact with the LMS. Then we have to have the middleware services. This is where, see, this is where all the application logic is generally kept. It's what's happening is, let us say someone is sending you some book request, so that you have to resolve what kind of request is this. Is an authorized search, a book wise search. So what kind of book is it? A reference book he is searching, or a borrowing book? Now a book request is there. Now you see what kind of book he is searching. If you don't have that book, for example, if you have that book, you show. If the book is not in your library, or let us say that the book has not been bought yet, or the book is all out, I mean, you have maybe 12 copies and all 12 copies have been borrowed out, the reference copy is also not available because someone else is studying it. In that case, what are you going to do? Are you going to say no? Obviously you're going to say no, but you have to say something like, alternatively you may borrow so and so book. Okay, for example, if I want, uh, let us say that I look for Balaguru Swami's Java Primer. Okay, say I want that book, but it is out. It is in the library, but it is out. It has been borrowed out, or the reference is also out. So what are you going to tell someone? So what is the system going to tell me? No, the book is not there. You go home. No, that is not a constraint. If you say the book is not available, no copy. First of all, if the copy is inside, where did you not hear? Sorry,
Bookstore.
from where did you not hear? Okay. If the book is not available, is the system going to tell me, no, the book is not available, you go home? Not really. It is going to tell me the book is not available first of all. If the book is inside the library, what will it do? It will show me a list of the copies of the book, the reference copies and the borrowing copies, and besides that it will all show that it has gone out. So none available to borrow, either reference wise or borrowing wise. Now, once it is not available to borrow, either reference wise or borrowing wise, what are you going to do after that? You are going to suggest, but a basic book on Java by, say, uh, Yashwant Kanetkar is available, shelf number so and so. Okay, that means you're giving alternatives. That is a good MIS. Otherwise, it's a very shitty MIS. Okay, you just give some report and nothing else. No, not like that. What you say is, uh, Nishant, stop making me laugh, you bloody idiot. So, and thanks, anyways. So, it'll just show the books that are available instead of the book which is not available. So that is the correct MIS. So, it needs the transaction processing system is actually, what is the heart of it is the database and the server. User interface makes us interface with it, and the middleware services are the ones that decide all these application logic. How am I going to run the borrowing system that is available here? Now there may be many other, okay, maybe many other sort of parts, maybe on many other parts. You may be having hundreds of parts, depending on how well organized or how complex your system is. These parts are all in the horizontal. Now, once it is finished, what do you do? You then create the verticals. What is the vertical? These are the tasks. For example, uh, you can have, so database. So schema, normalization, design, coding, uh, model, data entry, test. Understood? Everybody? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. You have to speak up, guys. Otherwise, I'm not being able to understand whether you are getting this or not. So now let's look at typical work that we have to do in the server. See, what I'm just doing is I'm giving you some logical uh, examples. These are very logical, minimal examples. In reality, task is even greater. But I'm just giving you some. So let's say what about the server? Server is, first of all, it's designed. So all this design is according to the requirements, mind you. So it's designed, then it is coded, sorry, coding the tasks, not verbs. So the nouns, coding. Then what? Design coding. So now integration with database. Okay. So you see that part is there. Now again, user interface. What does it entail? First of all, UI sampling. That means sample all the user interfaces available to see which one is suitable. Prototyping is necessary here. Why? It's a user interface, so you don't know how the users will react to it. What are the requirements for the interface? You don't know. That means, is it acceptable? Is it not acceptable? What is good for the user? What is bad for the user? That means user using wise, operation wise, you don't know. So you have to prototype it. And as soon as you've done the prototyping, then you do the design. Prototyping will clear the requirements. So the design. So then you code. So integration with, which do you think it will be integrated with? With middleware services. And then in our case, in our case, with the middleware services, you'll have uh, requirements checking, rather requirements engineering for uh, policy, that is library policy. Policy, that is library policy. Okay, let's say library policy. Library policy. That means the policies that. Okay, Nishant, requirements engineering is, as I've also given you notes on that ages ago. Requirements engineering means that the entire process of requirements gathering, requirements elicitation, requirements prioritization, and then forming documentation regarding what the requirements is, that is requirements engineering. I've already given you a note on this ages ago. I've given you a note on this. Please read your notes. So requirements engineering for library policy. Okay, so that becomes a bit dingy, so I'm just gonna sponsor. Let me write it again. So requirements engineering for library policy. So design application logic. This is done according to the business logic of the library. So once you design application logic, then what you do? You obviously code application logic. Afterwards, what you do? Integrate with what do you integrate with? Integrate with user interface, UI, server, okay, and definitely database. Because once you integrate with the server and database come together. There's a very small number of tasks I've actually given you here. The tasks actually are much more. If you just look into projects, huge projects, a lot of tasks have to be done. Here also, first of all, you do the requirements engineering for service. That is what kind of service you need to give. For example, the multi-user service, how many parallel users are used, how many searches you want to give, etc., etc. And here in the schema itself, we first do the requirements engineering. So once we do the requirements engineering, I have not mentioned it properly here, but it is given obviously. Once you make the database schema, how do you make the database schema? Definitely after you do the requirements engineering, but you can mention it also. So you see all these things, there can be many more tasks, many more tasks, many more tasks. Yeah. So these tasks will be numbered. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, UI sampling means that you sample the existing UIs, user interfaces, to see which one is suitable. If there is a interface that these people are already using, you better use that interface. If there is something new that you have to make, then it's a long, big task, and people will have to be trained in that interface also. So there are total 19 tasks, continuous task numbering, and these are called task numbers. So tasks are often referred by task ID, that is task number. Generally, that is exactly why in a WBS you don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, not like that. You do continuous numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like this. Means you go on continuous numbering so that in one WBS it is easy to understand. Say task number 13, you immediately know that's a user interface design. Immediately know. You say task number 19, you immediately know that's under middleware services, it's integration with UI and servers and DB. Immediately you know. the unique ID for each task in one WBS particularly. Okay. So once you get all these tasks done, then you find out relation between tasks. For example, successor, predecessor. Successor, predecessor means which task will come first, which task will come next, like that. So after this is done, then okay, after this is done, simply you go for resource allocation of, or rather on the tasks. And see, middleware is obviously something, middleware services, something that will have the application logic. User interface gives the command to middleware, middleware handles it. So what is the application? For example, if you do not have a book in the library that is available, you don't just say no, you can go home. You say this book is not available, alternative books are like this, like that. So that is an application. So whether the library is going to turn you away, or whether the library is going to say what is the alternative to it, that is a part of the business logic of the library, how it will conduct its business. Okay. So there, this thing will have to be handled by the middleware. When a service, when the UI comes in with a request from the client, middleware service takes over. It says, okay, let us search the book. So middleware service go to the server, places the request. Server gives the request as it is arranged. From the database, it will get the data, then it will arrange the data according to what the middleware is giving it, and the middleware will give it to the user interface, which will be shown to the user. Then the middleware service, if the request to find a particular book on Java, for example, Balaguru Swami's Java, it looks up the database and says all Balaguru Swami Java books have been gone. They have been borrowed out. So what will happen? It'll give you, the server will give you the thing that no book is available. So the middleware then automatically push in for what are the Java books available. So those Java books that are available will be shown, and middleware will view, and middleware will give that view to the user that this book is unavailable, so and so book is unavailable, but these 4 or 5 books are available. So this is being done by the middleware, which handles the application logic. Okay. So this apart, there can be many things. Obviously, for example, there can be the web logic as well. That means, nowadays obviously we make everything web based. Why? Because it's inherently networked, so we don't have to go on installing things. So we have to do that. So that will be done here. Okay, is that understood by everybody? Okay. All right, now what I will do is I'll just cut you off, and I'll come back again because we've got a few minutes left. So I will get the service on again, so please be ready.